The whisper of eternity. In the quiet stillness of a land bathed in golden sunlight, where the hills rolled gently like the breaths of a slumbering giant, Abram walked alone. The wind whispered secrets through the olive trees, and the distant song of a brook mingled with the chirping of birds, as if nature itself was holding its breath. Then, suddenly, the air shifted. An invisible presence settled around him like a cloak, both warm and electrifying. Abram felt his heart quicken. He knew without seeing that this was no ordinary moment. The presence called him to walk faithfully and live a life of integrity. The words carried both command and promise, wrapping around Abram's soul like a gentle but powerful tide. Trembling, he stood firm, listening as the land itself seemed to hum with expectation. The Covenant of Promise. Abram was promised a future beyond imagining. His descendants would be multiplied greatly. Even though he and his wife Sarai had grown old, time could not diminish the vision that was painted before him. They would have children, countless descendants, a lineage as numerous as the stars scattered across the night sky. Abram was told that his name would no longer be Abram but Abraham, for he was to be the father of many nations. Sarai too would receive a new name, Sarah, for she would be the mother of nations. Names now carried destiny, and through them, their lives were forever transformed. The Dance of Stars in Time. Abram lifted his eyes to the heavens. God directed him to look toward the sky and count the stars if he could. Abram knew that no one could count them. And yet he was told that his descendants would be like those stars. The promise stretched beyond human comprehension, across time and space. He fell to his knees, overwhelmed by awe, feeling the weight and the wonder of the covenant. God promised Abraham the land of Canaan as an everlasting inheritance for his descendants. The promise was unshakable, a sacred gift that would survive generations, shaping the future of all who would follow in his footsteps. The Mark of Faith. God instructed Abraham that every male in his household was to be circumcised. This act would be a sign of the covenant, a visible mark linking flesh to spirit, humanity to the divine. It was a tangible expression of faith, a reminder that obedience often requires sacrifice and courage. Abraham acted without hesitation. He called together all the men of his household and carried out the ritual, establishing a sacred bond that would endure for generations. In this act of obedience, he found purpose, courage, and a deeper understanding of the covenant he had entered into. Sarah's wonder. Abraham was told that Sarah would bear a son, to be named Isaac, and that the covenant would continue through him. The promise of new life brought laughter and astonishment. Even in their advanced years, they were shown that the impossible was possible. Sarah's laughter was not of disbelief but of amazement at the miracle she was about to witness. God's promise transcended age and limitation. It was a vision of hope made real, a certainty that life could always surprise and transform those who trust in it. The Eternal Pledge. In that land of golden light and whispering winds, the covenant was sealed. Abraham and Sarah walked forward into the unknown with faith as their guide. Circumcision became a living sign, a sacred mark of obedience and trust, linking their family to God and to all generations yet to come. The land of Canaan waited to be inherited. The stars above shone as eternal witnesses to the covenant, and Abraham and Sarah became living symbols of hope and promise. The covenant was a living relationship, not just a contract. It was a bond of faith, trust, and devotion, a link between the human and the divine that would carry forward across time. Abraham's story became an example of courage and obedience, showing that faith often requires action and commitment, even when the path is uncertain. Reflections and Lessons. Genesis 17 teaches profound lessons about faith, promise, and transformation. Abraham and Sarah show that even in the face of doubt and impossibility, trust in God can lead to miracles. The covenant represents a sacred relationship, a personal bond that shapes the future of generations. Obedience is shown as a form of faith. By acting according to divine instruction, Abraham affirmed his trust and became part of a greater purpose. Names, identity, and destiny are intertwined. The renaming of Abram and Sarai signals transformation and the beginning of a new life, illustrating that stepping into the promise often requires change and courage. This chapter encourages us to see beyond present limitations, to trust in promises that may seem impossible, and to recognize that extraordinary destinies emerge from unwavering faith. It reminds us that hope, obedience, and trust in the divine can shape the course of life for generations to come, and that even the smallest act of faith can echo across eternity.